Good evening, parents and guardians. My name is Miss Martin, and I am teaching the Civil Engineering and Architecture class. Today, I'd like to tell you a little bit about myself and also a little bit about the class that your student is taking. So, first off, I'm not from here. I am actually from New Jersey. I grew up there with my parents and my three older siblings. Always had a lot of animals. Loved art, swimming, and skiing. And when I went to high school, I went to a school much smaller than OHS. I played softball, and one of my favorite memories was being the school mascot my senior year. So we were the Thunderbirds. So I dressed up in this giant eagle kind of costume and just danced around at football games. So it's really silly and fun. After high school, I knew I wanted to go somewhere different. I knew I wanted to go to college. And so I ended up at Wake Forest in North Carolina. And it was such a great experience. I pursued my passion in art. I took classes in studio art and art history. And a lot of those classes led me to really fall in love with architecture. And that's what brought me out here. So I came out to San Diego to go to the New School of Architecture and Design and absolutely fell in love. Decided to stay, kind of adapted this new lifestyle, this new beach living California lifestyle, with a love for succulents and surfing, and decided to stay. So, after school, I got a job in architecture. I worked for two different firms for a little over 9 years. But there was always an itch. There was always just something in me feeling like I was meant to do something a little bit different or maybe just a little bit more. And I'd always loved kids. I'd always loved just being a part of not just kids, but young adults, being a part of somebody's life and helping them to figure out what they're passionate about and then to help them kind of achieve that. That's what I was really passionate about. So I started some little steps towards teaching and found myself back in school, which I had sworn I would never do again. But I did go back. I got my teaching credential, and my first job, I worked with some really, really fun elementary school kids in Carmel Valley. I was really happy to get this job at Oceanside High School. This is going to be my fourth year here. I'm not going to lie, I was super intimidated to work with high schoolers, but I've come to absolutely love it. I just feel really, really grateful to be where I am, and I'm just very grateful to have the opportunity to teach your student. So here we are, we're virtual. Things are a little bit different, obviously. It's not ideal, and I really can't wait to meet your student in person and be able to be in class with them every day. But I have really seen some great things happening with virtual learning. So I'm going to stay positive and I'm going to really focus on those really great things. I really am just excited for a great year, and I think it's going to be good. So the next thing I want to do tonight is talk to you about the class in general and show you around our Google Classroom. So here is the page for fourth period, and it's the same thing for fifth and sixth. So your student has access to this. A lot of you guys are in the people and the guardians, so you can go access this as well. And everything you need is on here. So if you go to the classwork tab, this is going to have all the assignments, everything weekly, but then also the contact and the policies. So if you need to get in touch with me, the best way to get in touch with me is through email right here. And the class itself is a Project Lead the Way class. And what's wonderful about that is this civil engineering and architecture class is meant to be an extension or a next level class from the intro to engineering class your student took last year. But what's different about this class is we're going to explore different types of engineering. So civil engineering really encompasses the built environment. So when you look around and you see, downtown Oceanside, everything there is civil engineering. So we've got our mechanical, electrical, structural, plumbing. We've got environmental engineers. We have civil engineers. And then we have architects, and they're all working together to create our cities and our buildings and our homes. And so this class really introduces students to the design and the development of where we live, which is really, really cool. We also focus on activity, project, problem-based teaching. So a lot of the assignments your student is going to get are basically, they're always a part of a bigger picture. Okay. And they're always linked to some kind of a work-based skill that your student would need to pursue in any career. There's a class syllabus here you can look on your own, but within it, there's a note on virtual learning, which I just want to take a minute to point out. This class is very hands-on, and when we teach it in the classroom, there are a lot of materials and tools that students need to use. So there may be some things that we're not going to be able to get to this year. However, I have ordered a lot of materials to create kits for each of your students to come and pick up and have the materials. Then they get to keep them, which is actually pretty exciting. So they are supposed to arrive tomorrow, or when you are watching this, it will be today. So as soon as they're ready for pickup, I'm going to let your students know, have them come in and grab their kits. They're going to have a lot of great materials that they get to keep, which is really special. So trying to keep things really, really nice for you and your students this year as much as possible. The other thing we'll use this year is the 3D modeling software of Revit. And we've already been creating ways for you to be able to access that with your Chromebook, which is exciting as well. For grading, everything is on a point policy. So I just award points depending on how long a project takes and how involved it is. So shorter, less involved projects will be 10 points. Longer, more involved projects will be 100. Add them all up, divide them by the total possible points, and we get your grade. Easy peasy. If you have any accommodations with your student, please reach out and tell me. It's the easiest way, it's the best way, it's the most effective way for me to always have them in mind and to do my best with them as well. For late work, I accept everything up until 2 weeks after the due date. I'm trying to be very, accommodating and gracious during these times. And but I don't want that to become the norm. It shouldn't be a normal that your student is turning things in 2 weeks late every time just to get credit. That's really reserved just in case there's an emergency. There's going to be a lot of unforeseen circumstances this year that, who knows? Someone could get sick. We could have to maybe go take a trip. Lots of things could happen to need that extra time. So that's what that should be used for, not just for a normal extra 2 weeks to do work. Speaking of work, I give enough time to do everything in class. So your student should not have any homework from this class. If they are not actually with me in a Zoom or a Google Meet meeting, then they should be, if it's within this class time, they should be working on something for an assignment for class. So each day I'm gonna have some times for direct instruction, but then also time for independent work. My class rules all revolve around respect. I feel like that just encompasses everything. It's very simple. And then attendance, I take attendance through the attendance check-in questions and exit tickets each day. So your student needs to be filling those out and submitting them every day to get credit for being present in class. So that's something important to keep in mind. Just so you know, a couple of the things that we've been working on. The first couple of weeks, we did a lot of get to know you kind of things. We created an avatar, which is kind of like a comic version of yourself. And then we created an avatar locker. So let me see, I'll kind of pull up a couple of these for you guys to check out. But it was super fun. People got to decorate their lockers with everything that they love, kind of to show their personality. Maybe sports teams they love, or books they love, food they love, maybe the favorite music, or their pets, different things like that. So it was a lot of fun to get to know your students in that way as well. Okay, so I hope this was informative for you guys. Please don't hesitate to reach out to me with any questions or concerns, or anything whatsoever. And I hope you guys really have a great rest of your night for back to school night, and I will talk to you soon.